Hi, today's lesson is on solving multi-step equations with one variable. We're going to learn a 5-step process for completing these problems. And as I mentioned many times, it's not the only way to solve equations with one variable, that are somewhat complicated, but it always works, so if you're stuck, use it. It's very worthwhile. The first step in the 5-step process is to get rid of any grouping symbols. And grouping symbols typically are parentheses, braces, it could be a fraction bar. We're going to focus on problems that have parentheses in it for now, and we'll deal with the other types of grouping symbols at a later date. And as you recall, to get rid of parentheses, we typically use the distributive property. The distributive property is useful when we have two terms inside parentheses separated by a plus or minus and a number outside or an expression outside. I put the arrows in here to remind you that when we use the distributive property, the 1/2 is going to multiply both things inside the parentheses. So 1/2 of 2x is x, 1/2 times 4 is 2, and voila, no parentheses anymore. It already looks better. I also sometimes will include the 1 as a reminder that we have 1x here. Don't forget it. Now the second step is probably the step students have the most difficulty with. Okay, so pay attention. We're looking at an equation, say like this, and there's three terms on the left side and 3 terms on the right. We don't like it. It's complicated. So we want to simplify it, and we can do that by combining the things that are alike. So this is when you just underline or put them in boxes and say this x and this x term are alike, so I can put them together. So I use positive 2x, positive 1x, 3x. On the right hand side I have an x and a negative 3x. A little more challenging, but 1x and negative 3x is negative 2x. I didn't write anything below the line because I'm not changing what's on this side. I'm not introducing anything new to the problem. I'm just combining the things that are alike. Now the negative 8 or the minus 8, there's nothing like it on the left, so I bring it down. The positive 2 on the right, there's nothing like it, so I just bring it down. Okay, so this step is very important. You're not introducing anything into the problem. You're just looking at what's there and seeing if you can combine things that are alike to make each side look better. Now, steps 3 and 4 are similar, and this is when we are going to be introducing things into the problem. Okay, so we're looking at this equation now, and I have 3x minus 8 on the right, negative 2x plus 2, 3x minus 8 on the left, and negative 2x plus 2 on the right. There's an equal sign in between. It's a wall. We cannot push things across the equal sign or combine things across the equal sign. So we can't smush those two x terms together because this equal sign blocks it. But what we can do is use our property of addition and subtraction, that if we have two things in balance, which the equal sign says we do, then we could add or subtract the same thing to both sides. And that's what I'm going to do so that I can collect all the x terms on one side. We've solved equations that have only had x on one side, and it was pretty easy. So that's what we want to accomplish. So I look at this side and it's negative, and this is positive. Well, I like positive, so I'm going to try to get rid of the negative 2x. And I can do it by adding the opposite. So I add 2x both sides. This will cancel out, and I'll just be left with the plus 2. But since I added it to the right, I have to add it to the left. So 3x and 2x make 5x, bring down the minus 8. The star is there to remind you, this is your step. You introduce that term. And that's why you have to do it to both sides. Now for step 4, you might even be able to guess what it is. Now we want to use addition and subtraction to bring the constants to the other side. Remember, we want to bring variables to one side, constants to the other. So don't bring everything to one side. Okay, so the variables are on the left, so we're going to bring the constant terms to the right. 2 plus 8 is 10. Negative 8 plus 8 cancels out, leaving us just with the 5x. So I underline the red here to emphasize we introduced that. So that's why we have to do the both sides, and we want to get it to the other side. Now, at this point, I know you can solve the problem. You've been doing it all year. You probably learned it 6th grade, maybe even 5th grade. We want to find out what 1x is. So if we know what 5 x's are, we just want to divide those x's into 5 groups. That's division. So we'd have an x in each group. And then on the other side, we have to do the same thing. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And you can see that works. So that last step, we divided by the coefficient, the 5, to make the coefficient 1. Okay, so let's recap the 5 steps for solving. Okay. 1, use the distributive property to get rid of those parentheses. 2, simplify both sides separately. Step 3, get the variable on one side. Doesn't matter whether it's the left or the right. But the important step is then in step 4 to get the constants to the other side. And then the last step, the easiest step, divide by the coefficient. Okay, so let's go put it all together in one problem. And I think you'll see all the steps look very familiar. You've already done them. For equation you're given is 2x minus 8 plus x equals 1/2 parentheses 2x plus 4 parentheses minus 3x. So step 1, get rid of those parentheses with the distributive property. Bring down what you get as the result. You didn't touch the minus 3x, so we bring that down as well. We didn't touch the left side, so we just rewrite it. Step 2, simplify each side by combining the like terms. 2x and x is 3x. X and negative 3x is negative 2x. Didn't touch the minus 8, didn't touch the plus 2, so we bring it down. Step 3, the thinking step. We want to get all the x's to one side, so we're going to eliminate them over here. Add 2x. That will make the x's go away over here, leaving us just with the 2. But we have to do the same thing to the other side. 3x and 2x is 5x. And now we have to make sure in step 4, we get the constants to the other side. So we want to get rid of the minus 8, so we add 8. We add it to one side, then to the other, and we have 10 on the right, 5x on the left, then divide by the coefficient. Okay. So that is basically the 5 steps. And at some point, I'll probably have you write these in your journals. But for now, I just want you to refer to the video as you do some practice problems. Good luck.